Hey, this is Shawn McCormick. I'm here with my broker, Gus Grisard. He owns ERA Grisard of the Orlando area. We've got 6 offices all around Orlando serving Lake, Orange, Osceola, Polk, Seminole counties. And I just want to kind of touch base with you. We're in Clermont today. Kind of give us the state of the union about, we're in a very volatile time right now. What are your opinions on people out there looking to move to Clermont or move up or move down or consider buying in general?
I think the big misconception out there right now is that people think that the market is in this big disarray and the market's going to collapse and things like that. The market is absolutely 100% stabilizing. This is becoming more of a normalized market. Yes, we have fluctuations in interest rates and things like that, and we have things happening in the Middle East that are causing some hesitation.
Sure.
But the bottom line is we're still seeing appreciation in price. I mean, we've got inventory increasing, and we've got price continuing to appreciate as well.
All right, so Gus just nailed the big picture. The market's not crashing, it's normalizing. But I know you came here for the actual Clermont and Orlando specific numbers. So let me show you what's happening on the ground right here in the summer of 2026. Median sales price in the Orlando metro right now is around $395,000. Statewide Florida median, $420,000, up 1.8% from this time last year. So yeah, prices are still going up. They're not going up 26% like they did in 2022. They're going up 2 to 5% annually, which is exactly what a healthy, normal market looks like. Inventory, that's the one most people don't see. The Orlando Realtor Association reported nearly 12,000 active listings across the metro this past spring, and it's up 146% year over year. That's the most buyer choice we've had in years. Days on market, the 2025 annual average was 73 days, up from 58 days the year before. That means buyers have time. You can actually look at a house twice. You can negotiate. You're not seeing and signing sight unseen anymore. And here's the stat that nobody's talking about. Back in early 2022, 40% of homes were selling above asking price. Today, it's down to about 18%. Buyers have leverage they haven't had in years in this area. Now rates, Gus mentioned interest rates. The 30-year is still hovering around that mid-6 range, but the Orlando Realtor Association's February numbers said rates have dipped into the 5% range at points. That hasn't happened consistently in over 3 years. So yes, things are moving.
Now, the reality is, people are thinking, okay, well, rates right now are really high, and I'm going to wait to see if rates come down. I can guarantee you the people that thought that a year ago or 2 years ago are wishing they bought back then. Because there's an old saying is like, in real estate, you date the rate and marry the home.
The house, yeah.
So find a house you see yourself being in for the next 3 to 5 years, and if rates come down, refinance. So
okay. Fantastic. That's good advice.
Okay, so Gus dropped that line. Date the rate, marry the home. Let me show you why that's not just a cute little saying. Let me put real numbers on it for you. Say you're looking at a $499,000 home in Clermont. Median new construction price. You put 20% down. At today's rate of about 6.5%, your monthly principal and interest is right around $2,523. Now, let's say you decide to wait. You think, I'll just hold off a year. Rates will drop. I'll save a bunch. Okay, so rates drop to 5.5%. Best case scenario. But, and this is the part that nobody runs the map on, that same house has now appreciated 3%. It's no longer $499,000, it's $514,000. Even with the lower rate, you're paying around $2,335 a month. Sounds like you saved money, right? You didn't. You paid $15,000 more for the exact same house. You missed out on a year of equity build. Your insurance went up. Your property taxes went up. And here's the kicker. Every other buyer who was waiting just woke up too. And now you're bidding against all of them. Now compare that to the smart play. You buy the house today when you want it at $499,000. You lock in that 6.5% rate. You start building equity right now. Then, when rates drop to 5.5%, you refinance. Now, you've got the lower payment and you bought at the lower price. You're winning on both sides. That is date the rate, marry the home. Marry the house, not the loan. The loan can be replaced, but the house can't. The time can't.
One other thing that I would recommend is, there's so much clickbait out there. There's so much sensationalism with headlines today. If you really want to stay in tune with what's happening in the market, real estate is very local. So you might be reading something that is national news. If you want really good information about what's happening local here in our market, you need to make sure you reach out to your real estate professional like Shawn, who's got his finger on the pulse of everything happening locally.
I agree.
And now look, I've sold real estate in Clermont for years. I've seen every single cycle this town's been through. And the reason I'm telling you to act right now isn't because I want your business. It's because I have watched what happens when people sit on the sidelines waiting for the perfect moment in Clermont. Here's what's happening right now. 1, Schofield Road opened back in 2023, and it cut the drive from Clermont to Disney from 45 minutes down to 25 to 30 minutes. That single piece of infrastructure changed who buys here. Used to be all retirees and short-term rental investors. Now it's young families with 2 income park jobs and Lake Nona healthcare workers because they can finally do the commute. 2, there's a 15,000-acre development called Wellness Way going right next to us, and you need to know about this. We're talking bigger than the city of Clermont itself. The cornerstone is a 243-acre sports complex with an NHL regulation ice rink and the largest red clay tennis complex in the entire country. Lennar's already selling homes inside of it. That community is called Wellness Ridge. So we're watching the next Lake Nona being built right under our nose, and most buyers don't even know it yet. 3, the new construction builders here are dealing right now. Lennar, Pulte, Landsea, Trinity, they're all offering rate buy downs, closing cost credits, design center incentives. They want to sell. And in 6 months, when the market tightens back up, those incentives are gone. So this window right here, this summer, is your window. All right, now we've got to talk about what it actually costs to own here, because I know you've heard horror stories about Florida insurance and Florida property taxes and hurricanes and HOAs, oh my. So let's just deal with all of it right now, one by one. Say you buy a house that's $499,000 in Clermont that we keep talking about. 20% down, that's $100,000. You're financing $399,000. At 6.5%, your principal and interest is about $2,523 a month. That's where most people stop calculating. But Florida is not most places, so let's keep going. Property taxes. Lake County effective tax rate runs around 1% on assessed value. Add in City of Clermont millage, schools, water authority, you're at around $4,500 to $5,500 a year on a $499,000 home after the Florida homestead exemption, roughly $375 to $460 a month. And here's something Florida specific that's actually in your favor. Once your home is your primary residence with homestead, Florida's Save Our Homes Amendment caps your assessment increase at 3% a year. So your taxes can't just balloon on you. That's a real protection. Now, homeowners insurance. This is the one that genuinely scares people. Florida averages around $3,000 to $5,000 a year on a home that price, depending on roof age and proximity to water. Call it around $250 to $420 a month. Let me run through what I see happen with out-of-state buyers all the time. Families move down from somewhere up north, let's say Cincinnati. They've been paying around $1,400 a year for homeowners insurance up there. They come down to Florida, get their first quote, and it's somewhere in the $6,000 to $7,000 range, 4 or 5 times what they were used to. Most of them all ready, walk away. But here's the smart play. You take that written quote before you go under contract and you bring it to the seller. You negotiate the difference off the purchase price. On a deal like that, you can typically get $10,000 to $15,000 knocked off. That covers your first couple of years of the insurance gap right there. You close, you're happy, but if you wait till you're already under contract, you get that quote, you've got no leverage. You eat the whole thing. So the timing matters. The order matters. That's the kind of stuff a local helps you avoid. HOAs, that's going to depend on your community. So make sure to look that up before looking at communities, and make sure not to just trust the property descriptions because most can be wrong. So on average, your real all-in monthly cost is probably somewhere between $3,400 and $4,000 a month for a $499,000 home with 20% down. That's the number you actually need to be comfortable with, not just the principal and interest, the all-in number. And one more thing, hurricanes. I know that's a big one for everyone moving in from out of state. Let me give it to you straight. Clermont is over 60 miles from either coast. We're inland. We get hurricane wind and rain, but we don't get the storm surge that you see on TV, which is why our insurance is actually much cheaper here than down on the coast. Homes built in the last 15 years are built with modern hurricane code in mind. Concrete block, hurricane straps, impact-rated windows on the newer ones. I've personally lived through every major hurricane that's hit Central Florida in the last 20 years. Lost power for a few moments at a time here and there. Never had structural damage. Knock on wood. So yes, hurricanes are real. No, they are not the reason to skip out on Florida entirely. So look, if you're serious about this move, you do not have to figure all of this out alone. I've put together a Moving to Clermont and Orlando playbook that helps you get organized. Scan the QR code on your screen now or hit the link in the description. Or if you'd rather just talk to a human, call or text me directly at 321-439-4277. That's me on my actual phone. Number's right on your screen right now. As always, all of this is on the house. And then come back, because the next part is the cost of waiting, and I want you to actually see it. Okay, so let's say you watch this whole video and you still want to wait. That's fine, that's your choice. But I want you to know what waiting is actually costing you. First, you lose appreciation. Orlando is projected to appreciate 2 to 5% this year. On a $500,000 home, that's $10,000 to $25,000. Money that should have been in your pocket as equity completely gone. Second, you lose a year of equity buildup. Even at today's rates, your first year of mortgage payments puts somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000 into principal. Money you own. That's another year that you don't get back. Third, insurance and taxes go up. Florida homeowners insurance has been climbing 5 to 10% a year for the last few years. Property taxes, if you have homestead, are capped at 3% annual increase, but they still tick up. So even waiting 12 months, the same house costs more to own. Fourth, and this is the one most people aren't thinking about, the minute rates do drop, every other buyer wakes up. The exact buyer pool that's holding off right now, they all jump back in at the same moment. That's when you get bidding wars, multiple offers, waived inspections, all the things we saw in 2021 and 2022. So the people who waited end up paying much more for much less. That's the cost of waiting. Real money, real opportunity, completely gone. So if you've watched this far, I know you're serious. So here's what I want you to do. 4 things this week. Don't wait. 1, get pre-approved with a local lender. Not the one your bank up north recommends, although I'm sure they're great. A local Florida lender who knows our market, our insurance situations, our condo rules. Pre-approval can take a couple of days to a couple of weeks, but it tells you what you can afford, and it also tells the seller that you're serious. 2, pick 3 neighborhoods, not 30, 3. Hunters Run, Wellness Ridge, maybe Ridgeview or Lake Haven. Drive them, walk them, get a feel for which one fits your lifestyle. Once you've got 3, you've got a real short list instead of a Zillow scroll. 3, get a homeowner's insurance quote on a property that you're seriously considering. Like Gus said, real estate is local, so is insurance. Get a real quote on a real address before you make an offer, not after. And 4, and this is one you might want to do first, call me. Look, like I said earlier, I've sold real estate here in Clermont for years. I've helped families like yours figure this exact decision more than I can count. So when you reach out, you're getting somebody who's been here, done it, and helped buyers do exactly what you're trying to do right now. I'm here to help.
Hey Gus, thanks for your time today. I know you're busy. We're gonna, I kind of do this little thing. My trademark is called On the House, my YouTube channel. So I always send out like, hey, and all this information was brought to you on the house. Will you do that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. If you want more information about Clermont, Orlando, moving here, just reach out to me, 321-439-4277. And as always, this information was brought to you on the house.
And as always, this information is on the house.